Everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I am super excited to share with all of you my first ever haul from Selfridges. So I have been eyeing Selfridges for a very long time because they have a lot of brands that I really love, like Suqqu and Lisa Eldridge, but you do have to pay quite a lot of money for shipping since they're a UK-based brand. And I've been debating for a while whether to buy their global pass, which is $65 for free shipping for a whole year. And every single time I sort of put stuff in my cart and then decided against it because $65 for shipping is quite a lot in one go. But recently there were just so many products that I really wanted to pick up from them. I finally decided to bite the bullet. So here we are with that haul. So if you're interested in seeing what I picked up, then just stick around. So to start off, let's just talk a little bit about the packaging. So I just opened up this box and you can see it's quite branded. So I actually got this in two shipments. One is this box here, and then the other was another box that came with these items. So this is the lipstick that I picked up. So let's just open this. So this is the receipt, and then we have this bright yellow packaging, really cute and pretty. And this is the bulk of the haul for today. So let's see how this looks. Very nicely packaged. Hopefully nothing broke in transit. So below the yellow paper, we have another set of paper. And here we have the items. So first off, I finally picked up the Lisa Eldridge Skin Tint. I have this in the shade T6. For those of you who've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I love Lisa Eldridge products. I own almost all of her products, and so I've been eyeing this for quite a while. I'm normally someone who doesn't really like skin tints that much, so that's why I didn't pick this up immediately, but it's been getting some really rave reviews, so I decided to finally pick this up. In addition, I picked up another one of her liquid eyeshadows. This is in the shade Emily. If you guys watched my recent video where I showcased all of the shades that I've hauled so far of this formula, you know that this is my overall favorite liquid eyeshadow formula. And that's saying a lot because I don't actually like liquid eyeshadows normally. But I've picked up several of these shades already and I wear them regularly. They're basically my go-to on no makeup days when I want something just really fast, really easy, but that still looks nice and glam. And the shade Emily has been sold out for the longest time, and so that's actually what prompted this order. I had been looking for Emily for a long time, and finally this came back in stock, and so I decided it was time to haul a bunch of items. The rest of the items I have are from Suqqu, so I have 3 of their melting color blushes. This is my all-time favorite blush formula, and it's actually sadly been discontinued. So that's precisely why I decided to go on a shopping spree and pick up all of the shades that Selfridges had left. I do have 3 of these blushes already, so I'll give you guys swatches today in case you're curious. I recently actually also picked up one of these from Cult Beauty, which I don't think I've demoed on my channel yet, but essentially I've been going on all the retailers and trying to buy as many of these as possible because they aren't making them anymore. In fact, they stopped manufacturing them early last year, so if you are interested in this formula, definitely pick it up before it sells out in the retailers. Next up, we have the Suqqu Moisture Glaze lipstick, which comes in this cute little pouch here. So this comes in 2 separate components. One is the refill that has the actual lipstick, and the other is the case. And this is also a product I had been on the fence about for a while. I do already have a couple Suqqu lip products, which I do really enjoy. So I was eyeing this product for a while and saw so many rave reviews about it that I finally decided to pick it up. Personally, I love sort of sheer moisturizing lip formulas, so I have very high hopes for this one. So those are all of the products I hauled. For today's video, I will put them all on my face and share my initial impressions with you guys. If you are interested in any follow-on, more in-depth reviews of these products once I've played around with them more, definitely let me know in the comments below. So let's start out with this Lisa Eldridge Skin Tint. So it comes in this simple, cute packaging. This is basically a plastic component. It is a soft enough plastic that you can squeeze the product out, and it does say to shake before use. Now, one reason I decided to wait for review on this product is this packaging is a lot less luxurious than Lisa Eldridge's foundation. So you can see they kind of have a similar inspiration in terms of the egg design with the flat bottom. But this packaging is this frosted glass pump bottle with this beautiful gold detailing that is characteristic of a lot of Lisa Eldridge products, whereas this one is just a lot more simplistic. Obviously, packaging is not everything, but compared to the other Lisa Eldridge products, this is definitely less luxurious feeling. But let's go ahead and open this up. So once you unscrew the top, you have this squeezy applicator. And I was also really not sure what shade to get, but T6 was the one that a lot of creators I follow used. So let's see how well this works. This should be a really nice neutral tone. My understanding is that Lisa Eldridge really tried hard with this line to ensure that there were a lot of options for neutral skin tones. And I think you can already see on my face, this is definitely pretty neutral, actually probably more neutral than my skin tone. So let's see how this looks. Okay, depth-wise, I think this is really good. And it is really melting into my skin easily. I'm applying this with a wet sponge, but that blended in very quickly and easily. Ooh, wow. Okay, so here we have it on this side of my face, nothing on this side. Interesting. Looking at myself in the monitor, I will say it's kind of remarkable how there is an impact to this. And what I mean by that is when I look closely at my face in the mirror, it kind of looks like I don't have anything on this side of my face. It really doesn't look that different from this side. But then when I look at the monitor, it just looks like there's kind of a filter on this side. I feel like there's just some light reflecting properties in this product that make it look smoother and more even on this side, even though it's not actually concealing any of my blemishes. But wow, that's really interesting. Very, very unique. Now I'm just gonna go in with a bit more of that. One thing I will say is this is a very small bottle. So if you are using this on a daily basis, just beware that it probably won't last that long. I mean, Lisa Eldridge says you only need to use a tiny bit, but this is a liquidy product, and so it's hard to really control how much comes out of the tube. And also, if you are someone who likes a little bit more coverage, I would say that you'll probably go through this bottle very quickly. But wow, it does blend in super beautifully on the face. And again, it does kind of feel sort of like sorcery in a way. Like, it really doesn't look like there's much of anything on my skin, especially when I look in my mirror in person. But again, I just feel like in the camera lens, it looks really much more perfected than it did before. Wow. Very impressed with this initial impression. So of course, most days with a skin tint, I would just stop here and just go in with concealer because the point of this is not really coverage. The point is more just evening. But I'm gonna go in with just a little bit more because this is my first use of this product and I'm curious how much it can build up if I do want to just have a little bit more coverage. So I'm just going to concentrate this on the center of my face. Now, the other thing I'm noticing with this is it's very much self-setting. It doesn't look like one of those super glowy skin tints where you have to add powder on top. I think you could definitely just leave this as is, which I think is great for this kind of product that's really for an everyday no makeup look. You don't want to have to pull out all of your brushes and powders. Okay, that built up really nicely and I think did add a little bit more coverage, covered up some of the redness in the center of my face. And again, just looks really nice and natural. Wow. I'm really impressed because I wasn't really expecting much from this. Like I said, I'm not a huge skin tint fan, but this is remarkably imperceptible on the skin. Really, really nice, huh? I feel like Lisa Eldridge has really outdone herself because I am a huge fan of her foundation as well, but this definitely has a more unique effect on the skin. This is one of my favorite foundations, but I've tried a lot of other foundations that do similar things, whereas the skin tint just really doesn't feel like anything or really look like anything on my skin in terms of, being able to see the product. But it definitely makes a huge difference. And let me just touch my skin to see if there's any transfer. Okay, upon initial application, there is a little bit of dewiness that comes off on your skin if you touch your face, but really not much transfer, which is quite impressive. Oh, nice. Okay, I'm super impressed so far, really excited for this product. And just in case you guys are curious for a comparison, let me give you a swatch of this next to the foundation I have from her. So I'm just going to take a small amount of this and give you a swatch so you can see how dewy it looks. Very light formula. And then I have her foundation in the shade 15, which is very deep for me right now. This is like my summer shade, so these are going to be very different shades. But you can see here, this is just a couple drops of the skin tint, very neutral, almost kind of an olive undertone to this shade T6. And here's shade 15, which is a much richer, more orangey shade. And the texture is totally different. This is very thick and creamy. I will say though, the one thing I'm not loving about this upon initial application is there is a bit of a scent to this product. It's not like any added fragrance, but more like the smell of the ingredients. It has just like a slight chemically smell to it, which I'm not a huge fan of. I mean, it's fading really fast on the face, so I don't think this is going to be lingering all day, but just something I wanted to mention in case you're someone who's sensitive to smells. So moving right along, let's try out this shade Emily. So bringing you guys nice and close, I'm going to just put one swipe of this on the eye to start out. And I'll give you guys some comparison swatches as well, because I watched so many videos debating about whether to pick up this shade, since I was curious whether it would be very similar to Anais, which is also kind of a taupey shade. But I finally decided to pick this up because this seemed like the most neutral, everyday friendly of all of the shades. And given that that's how I like to wear these liquid shadows, as just an everyday one and done, I wanted to pick this up. And it's also the one that Lisa Eldridge says is her most worn shade. Wow. Okay, look at that. It is very high shine. Actually, much higher shine than I was anticipating. I mean, I don't know what I was expecting. All of them are quite shiny, but this one especially really sort of packs a sparkle punch. I love applying these with my Rephr 33 brush. It's just very quick and easy, as you guys could see. So let's just add some of this to the other side as well. And what I really love about these liquid shadows is I find that most liquid shadows are kind of one-dimensional. They're just sort of metallic or glittery and that's it. I feel like Lisa Eldridge puts a lot of different particle sizes of glitter in her formula, such that it has much more of a multi-dimensional effect. Also, I think Lisa Eldridge is the queen of shades. She manages to create colors that are just a little bit different from what you typically see. So they have just such a unique element to them. And the stories she tells about the shades she selects are also just really beautifully inspiring. She's very much an artist at heart. Alrighty, there we go. So we have Emily on both eyes. Here it is in lower lighting, and I think you can see on my skin tone, it's a very natural shade. It basically just kind of looks like I have some like shimmery, glittery particles on my eyes. And here we have swatches of all the shades in my collection. As I mentioned, I do have a dedicated video to this formula where I swatch all of these on the eyes and also show a few different looks. And so if you're interested in the other shades, definitely check out that video. But here we have Emily next to Anais, next to Titania, Daphne, and Angelica. So you can see that the closest are definitely these two. So Emily is just a little bit more of a minky brown, whereas Anais has a bit more sage and pewter to it. It's cooler toned than Emily. Titania has more of a blackened base and is more golden brown. Daphne is a totally different shade. This one is actually quite satin in its shimmer, so compared to the rest, it's a much more subdued shade, but does have a lovely greenish gold. And then Angelica has been my go-to on more of an everyday basis because it has this lovely pinkish rose gold shade that I find is very flattering on my skin tone. So I went off camera to do my brows, concealer, bronzer, and to finish off this eye look. As always, all the products on my face will be linked down below. Just to explain how I did this eye look though, I went in with my Sister Anne matte brown eyeliner and put that all over the upper lash line and lower lash line and smudged it out. I also added a little bit of Emily on the lower inner 2/3 of my lash line. And then just to finish off the look, I went in with my Natasha Denona Glam palette and used smoke to set the liner and also just to kind of smoke it out a little bit. I used a tiny bit of blend in the crease just to add a bit more dimension, and then went in with brow bone for the brow bone and inner corner. So now let's get into these blushes. So I have 6 of these now, 3 new ones and 3 in my existing collection. This is what the packaging looks like. Really beautiful, sleek, and luxurious. There's that nice silver detailing on the side. This is a magnetized enclosure, so really easy to open and close. You have a beautiful mirror there, gorgeous blush, and then this little brush over here. This first shade is You Buy, which is a gorgeous bright orange shade. Next we have Tomoshibi, which is a brown shade. And then Yoi Urushi, which is a deep red shade. And then these over here are my existing Suqqu blushes. Here's Koi Meguri. This is the other recent shade I hauled. This is a pretty corally pink shade. Oku Hibiki. This is a mauvey pink shade. And the OG shade that started this obsession for me, this is Shumiro, which is a more neutral peachy tone. Finally, just to show you guys for contrast, this is the Pure Color blush. This is the other formula from Suqqu, which is more of their normal powder blush. So this is not discontinued. It has a beautiful gradient pattern. And honestly, this is the formula I thought I would love more, but I ended up falling in love with the melting powder blush. So since this is my favorite formula, I have a lot of thoughts about why it's so great. So the reason I love this formula so much is that it has this beautiful, almost cream-like effect on the skin. So it really blends in gorgeously on the skin, looks very natural, very seamless, and really doesn't look like a powder blush. So this melting formula really does have that creamy effect. So it has the ease of use as a powder. And personally, I am much more of a fan of powders for blush just because I find them easier to apply. They last longer and I have more control in terms of how to brush them onto the skin. So this has all of those advantages of a powder, but it also has the advantages of a cream in terms of that really gorgeous seamless finish. This is also not a flat matte. It does have a little bit of dimension to it, which just adds to that really natural effect. So let me give you guys some swatches. So this is the Yoi Urushi shade. This is a really pretty reddish shade, great for a sunset look. Then we have Tomoshibi. For this one, I was curious if it was going to be different enough from this other one, but they actually look quite different in swatch. This one's definitely much more neutral and orangey, whereas this is bright red. And then You Buy, which I think will be really fun for the summer season. In general, I think this trio is a really nice sunset color story. So I'll have to try to showcase that on the face today. Next, let's go in with Sumiro. Oh, these just blend in so nicely. Such a beautiful creamy effect. These two actually look pretty similar, but You Buy is definitely brighter. Oku Hibiki, this one's probably the most different because it's very cool toned. Ooh, really love this one. And then finally, Koi Meguri. This one I've been enjoying a lot for the spring. It's such a cute color, really has a nice corally pink effect. So here's a close-up of those swatches. You can see they all definitely look different swatched. These two are probably the most similar, Sumiro and Tomoshibi. Probably didn't need both of them on my collection, but since this formula is discontinued, I wanted to make sure to grab as many as I could. Alrighty, so now let's get these on the face. I'm going to start out with this red shade and just go in very lightly to begin. Just put this sort of in the outer portion of my face. This is unset, so let's see how well this powder blends on top. Ooh, wow, that is very pigmented. Probably didn't need 2 swipes of that, but wow. Really pretty though. Whew, look at that shade. Wow, really, really red. If you have a deeper skin tone, I feel like this would look gorgeous. I mean, I can make it work, but probably needed to be a bit more careful. Ooh, really, really pretty though. On the other side, I'm going in with the brownish shade, just so we can compare and contrast. Ooh, this is a really nice neutral tone. And for this one, I've actually gone into the pan 3 times, so this is less intense than the other shade. I think in general, reds just sort of show up a little bit more. But here you can see the difference between the two. Definitely this side is much punchier, has that sort of cherry red flush, whereas this is much more natural, more like a tan shade. And then just to tie everything together, I'm going in with You Buy. Going to take that just and put it on the center of the face. Ooh, wow. Okay, that one is also very poppy. Definitely a very eye-catching shade. Whew. Quite bright orange. Let's put some of that just over the nose as well to tie it all together. My cheeks are looking very, very flushed. But can you guys see just how beautiful that texture is? Again, it doesn't look like your typical powders on the skin. Like the name implies, it just sort of melts in and looks like you applied a cream blush. So I just find this super unique. I'm really sad that they've discontinued this, but very glad that I have most of the set in my collection now. Really, really gorgeous. And you can also see there is a subtle sheen to this. This is definitely not a flat matte. And side note, sorry that the light is constantly changing. I'm filming in front of a window and it's the mid-afternoon, so there's a lot of lighting changes. By the way, let me know if you guys would be interested in a dedicated video with swatches of all of these shades of the melting powder blush. I've been thinking about making one for a while because I've watched a lot of those videos and trying to decide which shade to pick up. But since it is discontinued, I don't know if that's actually that helpful for you guys. So let me know if you'd be interested. So to finish off this look, let's get into this Moisture Glaze lipstick. So I'm super excited about this. I've been hearing rave reviews. So here is how the packaging looks. Very standard Suqqu packaging, very minimalist and luxe. For context, this is what their liquid lip formulas look like. So this lipstick is a little bit on the smaller side. It kind of just looks like the top part if you didn't have that bottom where the liquid lipstick color is peeking through. So now let's get into this refill. I got this in shade 3, Koitsumugi. This is their coral shade. So this is what the refill looks like. You definitely want to buy the case as well because I don't think this is the most flattering way to transport things. But here is the beautiful untouched top. And let's see, I assume I just push this in. It's actually, yes, that just snaps in like that. So this is what it looks like. And then you can twist up the tube. All right, so let's see how this looks on the lips. Ooh, nice and sheer, very comfortable on initial application. Alrighty, so there's just one pass. Wow, that's a really pretty shade for spring and I think goes well with today's blush look too. Really nice and hydrating on the skin. Let's just go in with a little bit more So there it is built up. Ooh, really, really pretty shade. So the bullet does get a little bit messy with application, and it is a snap enclosure. And just in case you're familiar with Suqqu's other lip formulas, here's some swatches. So here's the Moisture Glaze. You can see this is very sheer, very hydrating. The next one is shade 4 in their liquid lipstick. That's the shimmery, more moisturizing formula. And then we have shade 8 in their slightly more satin matte formula. You can see these two are a lot more pigmented. But all of these are very comfortable on the lips. This one definitely, though, feels the most like a lip mask. So here we have the completed makeup look. Really, really pretty. I'm loving this look overall and loving all of these products too. Zooming you guys out, overall, I really enjoyed this first experience with Selfridges. These are a couple of my favorite brands, Lisa Eldridge and Suqqu, so I'm not surprised, but the whole experience has been really pleasant. The products arrived really, really quickly, even though they were shipped from the UK. The shipping was very nice and professional through DHL, so I got a lot of notifications about the shipping progress. I was super impressed how quickly everything arrived and how nicely it was packaged. And I'm looking forward to continuing to buy things from them since I do now have that annual subscription. One thing I'll also note just about the subscription cost is that you do have the advantage that some of the products are less expensive on Selfridges than other retailers. So Suqqu in particular, I'm not really sure why, but they are a little bit cheaper on Selfridges than some other retailers, and that's even accounting for taxes. So I'm not really sure why that is the case, but it's something I noted early on, especially with these blushes. Comparing the prices at Selfridges versus other retailers, it still worked out to be a good deal to get them there. Now, in terms of the products I tried today, first off, I am very impressed with this skin tint. I love how it applied so easily to the skin and was self-setting. So I feel like it's just super easy for an everyday basis, and especially if you want something that doesn't really look like you have much on your skin, that looks very natural but still gives you a perfected appearance. Overall, today's look ended up being a little bit more glam than probably what I would typically use this product for, but I think if you pair this with a higher coverage concealer, you can use this for more of a glam look too. In terms of the liquid eyeshadow, I'm really enjoying Emily so far. I think this is really the perfect everyday shade in this line. It is a little bit more shimmery and glittery than what I would probably wear on most days, especially if I'm just going into the office. But if you do like to have a bit more shine on the lids, but a shade that's very neutral and natural, then I would highly recommend looking into Emily. And as I mentioned, I really love this formula, find it super easy to use, very long lasting, and just very dimensional on the lids. In terms of the blush, no surprise that I love this blush formula. It is my all-time favorite formula, as I mentioned. In terms of these shades, I will say that these are all much more pigmented than the ones I had before. So if you do have a lighter skin tone, I would definitely recommend checking out the shades that are on kind of the lighter end of the spectrum. That said, this formula is so beautifully buildable that even these deeper shades I find are super easy to use. And then finally, in terms of this lipstick, of course I just applied it, so I can't give you a very holistic review, but so far I'm enjoying it. I think it's really gorgeous. It completely smoothed out all of my lip lines, which is quite impressive. Even very moisturizing lipsticks that I've tried in the past often don't do that. So the fact that it's so smoothing and blurring on the lips is quite impressive. It also just feels very secure on the lips, which is interesting to me. A lot of these more hydrating lipsticks sort of feel like they're gonna slip and slide over the course of the day, but this definitely feels like it's enveloping the lips. Like it's by no means transfer proof, but I don't think it's gonna be getting on my teeth or sliding around my face. So on the whole, super happy with this haul. Definitely let me know if you guys have tried any of these products, what your thoughts have been. And also if you're interested in any follow-up videos about these products, let me know in the comments as well. So that's it for today's video. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you all so much for joining me today, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!